When selecting your seat on an airplane, do you choose to take the emergency aisle exit seats, or do you give that to someone else? Have you ever thought, in an emergency, would that person actually rise up to the job that was given to them? As you're sitting in the back of the plane, reading your book, sleeping, talking to your friends, what is that person going to do in the emergency aisle? As I was thinking about the theme for my speech today, I reminded myself of a book that I had read a while ago called Blink, The Power of Thinking Without Thinking by Malcolm Gladwell. Mm-hmm. And what he says there is that our mind thinks on the conscious level and the unconscious level. And that sometimes in extreme situations, in a blink of an eye, you know what to do. But you choose to logically think through why you shouldn't do it. I have a couple of examples, personal experiences where I've seen this actually happen. When I was camping in Africa, there were 16 of us around a huge fire. And the guy wanted to go to sleep, and it was one of those nights that was going to be a late night. So 16 chairs around the huge fire, we're all sitting around, and before he went to bed in his tent, he said, now if any animals come, be sure to stay near the fire because they're afraid of the fire and you'll be safe. So we're laughing, joking, having a great time, and wouldn't you know, 4 beady eyes looking right at us, 2 huge hyenas. What does everybody do? They jump up and they run. Everybody except me. And now here I am, sitting at the fire, 2 beefy hyenas, not sure what to do. The fire is my friend. The fire is my friend. I took my chair, scooted closer, and just waited because I knew I was the only person left with the hyenas. A couple minutes passed, and Andrew was right. I mean, the coyotes went back and forth, and they left. They don't like the fire. But I wondered, why did they do that? Their fear took over their logic, and they left. And really, if those hyenas were in a hurry, they probably could have gotten one of them. Another example I have is when I worked in downtown Chicago on the 14th floor of a 55-story building, 25,000 square feet, over 1 million square feet in that building. And we had gone to emergency training, and I had been selected to be a sweeper. It was a rectangle building. The outer perimeter had offices, the nice offices where the top people sat, overlooking the Chicago skyline, Chicago River. Everything was beautiful. And in the middle, there were 2 banks of offices with a pass-through down the center. As sweeper, our job was to, it was me and another guy, Mike. And he worked on one side of the building, and I worked on the other side of the building. And as sweeper, what our job was to start on our respective sides of the building, sweep the floor till we were on the opposite side of the building, and then call to each other down the center pass-through to make sure that everyone had evacuated the building. Well, wouldn't you know, 5 days after training, there's a fire in the building. And at that time, the emergency evacuation process was to evacuate 3 floors above and 3 floors below any fire. I went right into action. Went to my post, swept the floor, came around. Mike! Mike! Trying to call his name, because one of the things was we are supposed to be the last people to leave the floor, and do not leave until you have notification that that person is coming with you. Mike! Mike! Luckily, somebody on the other side of the floor had heard me calling Mike's name. Well, why was that person there? Mike was supposed to be the last one. Well, they were there because they saw Mike running down the stairs. Left me. Why did that happen? Because again, fear overtook his logic. The last example I have is when I was sitting on my lanai talking with my sister-in-law. And the table is about here, and the pool is about there. And our two sons, my son Joey, her son Logan, are very similar in their appearance. Both fair skin, both blonde, both short hair. And we're having a great old time, talking, laughing, talking. She's facing the pool, I'm facing her, and I can see them swimming in my peripheral. And they're having a great time, and this is grand. As a mom, if the kids are having a good time, the moms are having a good time. But something was bothering me in the back of my mind. I knew something wasn't right. And I'm thinking to myself, as I'm listening to Jackie, why is my son Joey, who's a fish, swimming so strangely? And I look over, and there is Joey swimming.
Oh.
Like this. And still, I'm thinking to myself, why? Why is he doing that? That is strange. I wonder if they're playing some kind of a game. At which point, I say to Jackie, oh my gosh, Jackie, that's not Joey, that's Logan. I got up, I jumped into the water, lifted him up, at which point he went, a minute at least. I was trying to reconcile this in my head, logically thinking, why is Joey swimming like that? But when I decided it was Joey, luckily, I didn't take the time to let logic take over and go, oh my gosh, it's a cool day. I have on my gym shoes, my jeans, my makeup is done, my hair, and my watch. I jumped in the water with all my clothes on, water that is too cold for me, and probably saved his life. These are just some examples of how you can either consciously or unconsciously act on what you're processing in your mind. I hope next time you fly, you decide whether you or your fellow passenger should be sitting in that aisle seat. Thank you.